Good evening and welcome to Season 3, Episode 3 of the BeatRoots podcast. I'm Jamie.
I'm Chris.
And today we're joined by FloodHounds. They're a Sheffield three-piece delivering tight, rabble-rousing live shows, bursting with startling jagged guitar, driving bass, and a wild rhythmic drums. That's from your website, that.
Yeah, that's probably the 15th bio I had to craft over the years. Like, how many different ways can I describe a riff? And that's where I've ended up.
Yeah. They've played festival appearances all across the UK. They've got a string of hard-hitting singles, including Psychosemantics and their recent track, One Horse Race. Today we're joined by one-third of FloodHounds, frontman and guitarist Jack Flynn. Jack, welcome to BeatRoots.
Cheers for having me.
Very welcome.
It's good to see you.
I think you're, well, obviously one of, but I think it's the first three-piece that we've had on.
Oh, really?
It's interesting, like, just because your sound that you've got is
a much bigger sound than a three-piece.
That's our like number one goal. Is like because there's loads of times where we like could just get two guitars to do it or something, but it's more fun to make more with less, and then you get the thrill of people going like, oh, it's such a huge sound for only three of you. And like, even though you could have a band that's four of you where it's one singer and then a three-piece, and that's actually the same, but no one gives them the credit for it. So it's but yeah, we have a lot of stuff like extra amps and stuff on stage. Like Anna has a bass amp and a guitar amp,
really,
which fills it out. The only downside is like, it's when you're doing some gigs. When you're a headliner, fine, do what you want, bring all the amps. But when you're in support, you turn up with the amps.
Squeeze in at the front of the stage,
And they're like, the sound man just looks, he's like, oh, do you need it? And we're just like, it's really important.
It's our sound. Well, yeah, we went a little bit off piece there. I just wanted to throw the three-piece bit in.
Yeah.
Where we usually start the podcast is just by asking, like, what's your first memory in music, and why are you doing what you're doing now?
Good question. My first memory of music, I remember hearing the Beatles in primary school, and I've heard that song "Help," which I still think is one of the best songs ever. And I must have been such a weird kid because I brought it into school and I insisted that they played it at assembly or something.
Really?
So the teacher was just like, all right,
Spreading the
weird
of the
thing to do. They must have thought, oh, fair to play, a kid likes Beatles, let's support it. But I put it on, and I just remember being like 9 years old and all the other kids being like, is this what you listen to? And like, I was like, what 9-year-old is giving me like critical stuff like that for this? Anyway,
I know it's like Tiny Temper and I
don't know what they would have been listening to.
Listen to that. It's like Cartoon Network
Control or something. Yeah. And then, like, luckily, in the long run, I know who's the winners. I know Beatles are
off way better.
Yeah, and then that was my first memory of listening to music. And then I was obsessed with one of my mates from primary school had a guitar, and he had an electric guitar, and he plugged it into this little, it was like a mini suitcase amp that folded open. It must have been from Argos for like a tenner. Right. And he couldn't play, but he'd plug it in and he'd just, with like one hand off, just go bring, and we'd have it on full. And we were both like 10 being like,
best thing.
What? Yeah. It was the most exciting thing. And then I think I was like, from that day on, I was like, I'm going to get one of these. I need this. And then I had to fight for it for a couple of years. Because, when you're a kid, you're always saying, I want roller skates. I want...
it's always the new phase,
exactly.
And the next thing, yeah.
And then I finally, I think I managed to get like, someone had like a charity shop acoustic guitar, which would have been right-handed and I'm left-handed. And it probably didn't have all the strings. And I was like, if I can learn a few songs on this, then I've proved that I should get a guitar. And I'm making it sound like my parents were like not very supportive. They were up for it, but they just
got to know though, aren't they, parents?
Exactly.
Like, you ask for all sorts.
Yeah, and I finally got like a Yamaha Pacifica when I was 12, I think. And then I literally haven't stopped. I play hours every day ever since. Like, just never stopped playing. And as soon as I got that guitar, it was. It just became my personality. I was the guitar guy, and then obviously that leads you into guitar music, and then you have to start a band because what else are you going to do?
Well, you got it, natural progression.
You've said in a previous interview that FloodHounds has changed. So it's been around for over a decade.
Yeah, sounds mental, doesn't it?
And the band identity has evolved as the lineup's changed as well. How would you describe that evolving?
Well, I guess different people shape it in a different way. And like whenever I say like, oh, we've been doing it for 10 years, that sounds insane because it's like, why are you still doing it? But it's like if most bands in our position, they get a new lineup, they change the name, they start again, and we probably could have done that a couple of times and like rebranded. But I was just like, well, what's the point? Like I enjoy it's not going to be any different if I'm still writing a song. It's still going to sound the same. So we just didn't change it. But yeah, the first lineup, 4 lads, and we were much more indie, much more like, we were all into like, well, we still are, but like Oasis, Stone Roses, all that, Arctic Monkeys, big influence, all that stuff. And then 2 of the lads left. And then it was me and Reese. So that was Scott and James. Then me and Reese. And then we got Lauren, who as a temporary drummer. We were like, oh, could you help us out with some recording? We've got these songs. We just need to finish them. And the first few rehearsals she did with us, Reese couldn't make it. So it was me and Lauren. And I was playing like half. We'd gone from a 4-piece to now rehearsing as a 2-piece. So I couldn't even play all the bits. And I had to go to Lauren, like, just trust me that when we record this will make sense.
Class.
But I'm just doing like a big note like this. And then there's like 4 bars of nothing. And I go, well, yeah, because that's the other guy's bit. He does the riff. And then so she did the songs and they went well. And then I don't think I ever actually officially asked her to join the band. She just, we just kept doing stuff.
Kept turning up.
And that was like, 9 years ago or something. So she's pretty safe now. I think she's in, she's not going anywhere. And then we had, so then Reese had to leave and then we got Joel in and we had a good few years with Joel. And then Joel left, he's got another band now. And we ended up, this was around the end of lockdown, we got Anna in. And, but yeah, it's each combination of people just tended to produce slightly different sound. Like early stuff was indie, then the Joel stuff we got a bit heavier, but still very much indie, but definitely like darker indie, a bit more like the Blinders, a bit more that vibe. And then don't know what happened after that, but I guess Anna's got a big grunge background. She plays in another grunge band called Muddy Brick, who are great. Okay. And I guess I started listening to lots more bands like Kid Capici, Soft Play, Tiger Cub. I think everything, I don't know, I just think everything got heavier. I don't think we're the only ones that got heavier. I think a lot of people got heavier in the last few years. Like, I don't know if you've noticed all this like 2000s new metal revival that's going on.
Yeah.
Which is not really for me, but I'm still, anything with more distortion, I'm like, yep, keep going, keep finding the fight. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we ended up, now our stuff's kind of heavy, but it's still got the indie songwriting. I think is still like, we still try and prioritize like hooks and choruses and like catchy riffs and stuff. Yeah. But we'll like try and just crank the amps and give it some sort of headbanging juice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Blinders is one of the ones that we were listening to a lot yesterday and like this last week. And so I think
I met him yesterday. He was at Shredler.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I had a good chat to him. Yeah, he was nice. Sorry, carry on.
No, it was just who was it you met? Was it
Tom?
Tom. Yeah, he's really nice. Like,
really nice.
His stage presence is something that is a bit intimidating, but as I've met him in I think it's the Castle in Manchester, and yeah, such a nice guy to be around. But yeah, so it was like Royal Blood. I think Black Keys is kind of coming to mind, but
they're bluesy
for a little bit, but yeah, no, I've really been enjoying I suppose getting onto One Horse Race, the most recent release. It came out on the 21st of February.
Yep.
We've really been enjoying that. I think that was the first one I listened to when Jamie put you.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I've been listening to Psychosomatics for so long.
Oh, really? Oh, nice one.
I think it was on the top of my, or near the top of my Spotify Wrapped last year.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's just such a good song.
Oh, cheers,
and that's why I messaged you on Instagram, because I was like, I love that song so much. But yeah, One Horse Race is brilliant. What's the reaction been like for that one?
For One Horse Race, best one we've ever had, which is really funny because I always get like, every time we do a song, I'm always like, this is the best thing we've ever done, and I back this all the way.
Yeah.
And then like just the nature of life is like it'll never meet your expectations, because your expectations are you get a phone call from Jules Holland or something, and that's obviously that's not going to happen. But then
to go on the hootenanny,
exactly with some. But then we did that one, and I think I wasn't as confident in that one for some reason. I don't know why. I think it was like it was a bit too easy. Like we just wrote it really quickly, recorded it really quickly, and normally there's a bit of more of a wrenching, like a creative struggle to like get it right and everything. But this one was just a breeze, and so when it's too easy, your brain goes like, "Oh, you've not worked as hard."
There's so much that could be potentially missing from it.
Yeah. And like, even though we couldn't, we were happy with it, I was like, oh well, we'll see how it goes, put it out. But then it did really well. Like on like Spotify, it's leapfrogged the last 2 tunes, and like it's people have reacted really well to it, and it's I guess how else. It's quite hard to quantify how well a song does. Like I hate being like, you don't want to be a numbers person, but that's kind of all you've got in this day and age.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's gone well. We've got 2 new ones which we've just recorded, which I'm really excited, because like I haven't heard the mix yet, but I know that when we left the studio, I was like, oh yeah, these are going to be good. They're still sort of along the same lines, I think.
As One Horse Race.
Yeah, like that was a bit more punky and a bit less desert rock, I guess. And so we got 2. So we got one that's like the 2 that we're recording. There's one that's way punkier, and then there's one that's way more royal blood riffier.
Yeah,
so we sort of got both our one foot in each camp. So like there are 2 genres. So we've just got the best of each one, and then we'll put them out and see which one works.
Yeah, nice. What are the sort of, have you got release dates in mind for those, or is it still a bit over there?
Well, we only recorded it like 2 weeks ago, so I hopefully, if we, depends on when the mix comes back, so we'll get it mixed, then get it mastered, then I've got to design the artwork. That's a big bottleneck. That takes ages. But if that all goes quickly, then we want to get the first one out for the summer, or the start of the summer, ideally before festival season. And then, because it's kind of like, it's quite a sort of fist in the air, upbeat punk kind of high energy. It's like the Hives. It's kind of, that's what we were sort of ripping off in a way, is the Hives. And so that felt more like a summer song. And then the next one is a lot darker and moodier and a bit more sort of swaggering. So it's a real sort of shades on, punch a hole in the wall type song. And that that's
when the clocks go forward.
Yeah, that's when the sun starts setting earlier. That's when that song should come out, October time, when things get spookier, I think.
Yeah, nice.
Well, did those 2 get written at around the same time then, before they got recorded?
Probably. I think the punky one's called Black and Blue, I think. I mean, by the way, this might change by the time this comes out. Right now it's called Black and Blue, and that one was pretty recent. So that was probably written about 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago. And then the other one is called Own Worst Enemy, and that was quite old. We've had that for ages. We always have like a collection of demos, and we've got like 5 or 6, and I'm always going to the producer like, okay, well, we can afford to do one, which one do you want to do, or which one? And we sort of, sometimes and this is a risky thing, is to ask your mates for their opinion, because
at such an early stage.
Yeah, because what do they know?
In truth, yeah. Like, once it comes out, feedback's great, but in that process.
So sometimes I've sent them like, okay, here's 4 songs that we're working on. Which one do you like? And each one of them has a really strong opinion about each different one. And you leave going like, well, I'm no closer to that. And but the Own Worst Enemy one, we didn't record it because we felt, there's maybe it's too much. Maybe it's too similar to Royal Blood or whatever. And we're like, I don't know if we're being original enough in this song, but we keep playing it live and we keep showing people the demo, and everyone's like, yeah, this is great. What are you worried about? And it's like, it's that thing where you can hear the Royal Blood influence, but no one else can. It's like something in my head where I'm going, well, Royal Blood always do this little tritone thing, and they always have that kind of, and everyone else is like, what's he talking about? No one can hear that.
You're on the toughest critic, aren't you? I suppose you got to be. But I suppose leading on to like a bit of the songwriting process, what starts a song for you? Is it like music, or is it the lyrics? Or...
always music. Yeah.
Always music.
Always. Yeah. The lyrics I find so hard, and they're always written. I'll do it with like, I'll have the whole tune, like the structure fully mapped out, the melody down to even like the intonations of the words, where I go like, that needs to sound like this shape because that will be nice to hear. And then I have to find words that work in that, which is really hard. And I will not do it, and I'll put it off, and I'll just sing like made up lyrics. I'll just make them up on the spot in the practice room for a couple of months. And if something sticks, if I keep making up the same thing, then I'll go like, oh, there's something in that. And then I'll have like a mad panic the day before a gig where the rest of the band, Laura and Anna, were like, oh, we need to play this new song. We need to play this. And I go, okay, I've got to write some lyrics. And then it's like a stressful thing of like trying to remember them because I've written them an hour before the gig. And then if I can't remember them, they get scrapped. And it's usually, I keep doing that until I get something. I'm like, okay, I'm not forgetting these. I think they're good and they sort of make sense. And then we commit to recording it. And then I have a massive panic that they're absolute crap. And then I try and rewrite them all before the studio. And then usually Lauren and Anna will go like, let's see that draft before. And they go, yeah, that's the one, do that. And
so like the first draft.
Yeah.
Like take one.
Exactly. And there'll be hours and hours of trying to do it, but very little time of actually doing it, if that makes sense. Like I'll sit a blank page for 2 days, 10 minutes of writing at the end of 2 hours of staring, and then it will get there. And then I hate it for a while. And then after a couple of months, once it's sort of done and it's in, I'll not listen to it. And then I'll come back and I'll go, oh yeah, that is good.
Yeah, well, not pressure on it then. And it's done and dusted.
I think it's just that classic thing of like, you're so envious of other people's songs and lyrics, and then you forget that like, oh no, these are fine. I don't know what yeah. But I always back the riffs. I've never got a doubt in the riffs. I think it's because I'm more of a guitarist. I'm not really. I didn't ever plan to be a frontman or a singer. My role would be. The perfect role for me is the Johnny Marr to someone's Morris, the Keith Richards to someone's Jagger.
Yeah, okay.
I should be the guy at the side doing the riffs, and I need someone else doing the singing and the front and the lyrics. But it's just I couldn't find one.
It sounds like it's working for you though. Like it's as much as you were hoping it'd be the other way around. I
mean, once you do start doing it, it's very hard to stop. You're like, actually, I quite like being a singer as well.
Have you ever had anyone else like front of the band and like looked at it and been like, you're not quite doing it? I don't want to do it, but I don't want it done like that.
Not in this band, but me and Loz played in another band called Rogue Siesta, and there's a standalone singer who was like an incredible front man. That it was like, I'd be playing guitar and I'd be like, even if I wanted to, I could never do that. Like, you know, the type just like diving into the crowd, like no shit's given.
Yeah.
And, but the problem is when you're playing guitar, you've got pedals, you've got stuff to do. And I just think the best bands these days usually have a standalone singer because they can just control it so much more. Whereas when you're a guitarist, obviously there's great guitarists that can work a room, but like, you're always slightly chained to your board. But I'd rather be a guitarist, but I do like being a singer. And it does mean that when you write the songs, they do have it's like I like collaborating, and I always want people to input their thing, because I know if someone else can add something to my thing, that'll make it something that I couldn't, and it will make it more interesting. But it's quite nice to write stuff knowing that how it's all going to fit together in your head, rather than like hand it off and hope for the best.
Yeah. So moving on from that, what's the sort of studio process like with you if you have working with producers and things like that?
So we since Anna joined, we've been using a place called the Magic Garden in Wolverhampton with two lads called Gavin Monaghan, Liam Radburn, and they sometimes have another engineer, I think she's called Louise, and they're just brilliant. And we've used them. Well, the reason we found them was because they were doing the Blinders debut album and Kid Capici and all our favourite bands. And we're like, yeah, let's just go where the music we like gets made. And so once we did, the first one we did was Psychosemantics. And then once that came back, we're like, okay, done. Let's just go here forever. And the process for us is we used to do it live in the room, but now we find we get a better quality recording. Well, we find we can control it a bit more when we do it individually. So Loz will do the drums first, Anna will do the bass, they'll then I'll do all the guitars, then the vocals, and it takes about, well, if we did one track, it'd probably take a day and a half with half a day of fucking about, and then
working stuff out and stuff.
Not even that, just like tuning guitars and just like, because I'm left-handed, I have to play everything upside down on his guitars.
Right.
We have this thing where like part of the reason we get like a big sound is we just layer tons of guitars on stuff, and one of the secrets for that is if you use the same guitar, you're kind of compounding the same waveform on one on top of the other. But if you use different guitars, they just have such different frequency ranges that you just get this wall of sound, this big massive sound. And
it's interesting.
It's the problem is I'm left-handed and I haven't got an expensive guitar collection, so I've just got the one Strat. So I'll borrow the studio's guitars, but they're all right-handed, and we play half a step down. So we have to set up this little tuning factory line where I'm recording a part, and then Loz and Anna are tuning all the guitars down. And I just feel sorry for the bands that come in after us, because then they've got to tune them all back up again.
Looking at the tuner like, what's wrong with your guitars?
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Then it'll go get mixed, and then we have to we'll get it like a DM on Instagram, and it's just like, it's ready.
Yeah.
And then I'll go like, I'll bring it to band practice, and we'll all sit there like, yes.
Like everyone knows what's going on. You're like, we do like that in our band. Like you're just like, no, I think it's missing like mid-range here. Yeah. You're probably a lot smarter than us, but we for 3.5 minutes we pretend like we know what things sound like.
Yeah. At least, like, luckily, no one's ever had a suggestion where I can imagine there's some bands where everyone's got like a thing, and then someone goes, wouldn't it be great if we just doubled the whatever? And then the rest of the band have to go, anyway, carry on.
One of those, still put that idea on the fridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Save that one for a ring.
We put trombone on it. Yeah.
When does it ever stop? Like, when is it ever finished? It's one of those.
Well,
like,
if we
had keep just saying what if.
Yeah, if we had more money, then I would insist on like more revisions, I think. But like, I don't want to waste their time. Like we usually take one. Also, they nail it most of the time. So like, I don't ever have. I've had recordings in the past where I have had to go back like 3 or 4 times and book another day in and stuff to get it. But these ones, they use pretty much the only notes we ever have are like, oh, can you cut that tiny double track on the core, or just tiny stuff? And so it's always been really easy. But it is nice to mix. I would like to be in the room when you sign it off, because I always find like it's so much quicker to go like that bit, right, play that, and then a bit more, stop, that. But over email you can't do that, so that's a shame. But also I'm not complaining, because I'm pretty happy with how they've come out for the last few songs.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we've got a bit of a game to play.
Oh yeah.
It's called Myth or Riff.
Myth or Riff.
Yeah, and it's a true or false game. So we'll give you 5 statements that are about music, and you have to tell us if they're true or false. So a myth or a riff.
So question 1, Jack.
Yep.
Freddie Mercury had a degree in graphic design.
I think he went to the Ealing College of Art or something, didn't he? Yeah. No, was it graphic design? He did the Queen logo. I know that much.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to say true.
That is true. That is a riff.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah. So question 2, Taylor Swift has written songs about every US president since 2004.
Contrary to what I just said, my Swift knowledge is non-existent.
It's all in the
big time. I didn't know she'd written any about any of them, unless they must have been like metaphorical, right? Because what do you rhyme Trump with? I reckon that's false. Yeah, that's what I would. Yeah, I reckon it's false.
That is a myth.
That's
2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Not bad.
Some good
start.
Process going on as well. People just like
straight in.
No, it's true. Question 3. Dr. Dre was once in a synth pop group that wore sequined jumpsuits.
Oh, I'd love that to be true. It's begging to be a myth, which makes me think that it must be true.
It is true.
Really?
It is a riff. Yeah,
That is a riff.
Some people at this point, not to throw you off, some people start trying to play the algorithm. They're like,
I've done 3 trues now.
Yeah.
Right. So for number 4.
Whoa! What? Tell me more about this. You can't just move past the Dr. Dre.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the band's called, but he was in a group that there was synth pop.
Right.
It was one of the Netflix documentaries. There was, was it the Defiant ones that had like a lot of the members of the NWA? Or there was that documentary, and then there was like Straight Outta Compton that came out. On one of those, it kind of touches on like his DJing. It's like his early DJ days, and I don't remember anything about it. But as soon as Jamie put that on the table before, it was like I'm pretty sure that's true because I remember seeing it on one of those documentaries.
Yeah,
that's
it was like it was kind of, I want to say like disco era, but I don't know if that'd be blasphemous to the disco era if it was actually.
Yeah,
fair play, Dr. Dre.
It's like look it up. Look it up.
I will. Yeah, that'll be my train journey sorted.
Okay, so number 4, Florence Welch of Florence and the Machine was discovered singing in a pub bathroom.
I'd love that to be true. Someone like her, you'd be like, she's too good to be discovered somewhere that obscure. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like she'd get discovered just doing a normal gig where everyone goes, "What's that?
Yeah,
that's not normal." Someone, like what's that Back to the Future thing? Like,
God, you said stood at the urinal, but not the urinals.
I want that to be true, so I'm going to say it's true.
That is a riff.
That is true.
This is
You're smashing it.
We're gonna have to do doping test on you.
Okay, so last question. Adele and Ed Sheeran attended the same high school.
Ed Sheeran didn't go to the Brit school, but Adele did. So then he went. She's got like an East End accent. I don't know where she's from. I know Ed Sheeran's from like Ipswich. Why do I know that? Yes, but
it's so interesting. I feel like I'm becoming more knowledgeable just listening to your thoughts.
Mate, if you have a music pub quiz, I'm the guy. I know. Oh God, but I think that's false because I don't think their accents match.
That is a myth.
Right.
That's 5 for 5.
You are the first guest to have smashed it out.
That's what I do.
5 out of 5.
That's what I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The trophy is
looking
like
McVitie's.
Yeah, hopefully you can't actually see the answers from there.
Yeah. Imagine if it was reflecting on some glasses.
Sunglasses. Okay, let's get back to the serious stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Noel Gallagher gave you some very specific advice.
He did, yeah.
More tit in the attitude.
Yeah, he was. It's an odd note to receive.
What does that mean?
He just does. He just does like silly voices. He said it like more tit in the attitude. Like that's the tone of voice he said it. And so the way that came about was he does this podcast with a guy called Matt Morgan, a comedian, and annoyingly, because of the Oasis reunion, he's not allowed to do it anymore because they would just do like 2-hour-long rambles, and it's like Noel unguarded, like real off the clock, and they don't talk. He's not promoting anything. They just ramble because they're old mates.
Yeah.
And then one week they just said, "Oh, let's get people to send in their demos or their songs," and then they called it the Bonfire of Dreams because it was like he's not a kind critic, you know what I mean?
It's very matter of fact to me.
And like some of the things he said about my favorite artists, like he said. Jack White, he said he looks like Zorro on donuts, and he's just got all these quotes. What was the one about Alex Turner? He said he'd rather drink petrol from the nozzle than listen to one of his interviews. So I'm like, okay, I think this is gonna go. And I sent it in, and I think they played it like it's like annoyingly, as with all these things, the first hour. They're quite supportive, and they give each song like quite a long debrief. And then after an hour and a half, they're just like, right, next. And he's just going through and he's like, shit, next, shit. And And they were like, where's all the bands? There's no bands, because most of these were like phone voice notes or whatever. And to be fair to him, when it was someone that was clearly doing their like first ever song or whatever, he was very much more supportive. But then when he heard like a production, like a proper band, he was a lot more critical, because he's like, all right, well, if you're actually trying, then I'm gonna be more rude.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he wasn't actually that rude, but he listened to it. They listened to like the first minute of Psychosemantics, and then they cut it off right before the big riff. And I was like,
it must have been gutted.
I was gutted, because they did this, because we had a quote from an Irish magazine where they said it's like a slamming blend of Oasis and Black Sabbath, and I put that in the title because I thought I've got to get their attention, because hundreds of people are going to send in. So then they did like a 5-minute riff of doing War Pigs in Liam's voice. They were taking the mick out of, you know, that song he did with John Squire where it's like red and yellow and green.
Yeah.
So they were going, yeah, they were doing like that, and then they forgot they were trying to do a song, and then they finally played it, and then like, doesn't sound anything like Black Sabbath, and I was like, I know it doesn't. I kind of like sent them in the wrong direction, and then like, it doesn't sound like Oasis either. And anyway, they were nice about it, and what did the other guys like? Oh, it's got that Arctic Monkeys Kasabian vibe. And then Noel was just very quiet, and he goes, "It's all right, but it needs more attitude. He said if Matt Bellamy was singing that, it would be great." And I was like, I can't really use that as a quote. That's like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they started saying needs more attitude. And it's like, put more tit in the attitude. And then they moved on. And it was annoying. It was, on one hand, amazing. So I was like, oh, Noel Gallagher's heard my song. That's insane.
Yeah.
And that's bragging itself, isn't it?
Yeah. And then given how critical and rude he is about all my favorite bands, when he says it's all right, just needs more attitude, I'm like, I can work with that. That's not bad. I mean, you want him to say like, oh, let's get these guys on a tour or whatever. Obviously, you know, that's not going to happen. But he, anyway, so we coincidentally, that off the back of that, we then, I think it was in my head when we were doing One Horse Race, and I think I did consciously think like, this is a good song to actually take that advice on board. And then, like I said earlier, where like the song actually did, like, it got better result, like good results being on compared to the previous two songs. I was like, damn it, maybe he was right. He was right all along. So I've got Noel Gallagher to thank for that song, I guess.
Yeah,
in a small part.
This will trickle down his way at some point, and he'll get the thanks.
And one day I'll meet him, and he'll have no memory of this whatsoever.
Yeah, that would be really annoying.
Yeah. So you've had pretty music videos made by some filmmakers in Japan. That must have been wild.
That is the maddest thing that's ever
come about. We just
the power of the internet. Honestly, I don't know how.
It's amazing sometimes, isn't it? As much as it is awful.
Yeah, like for every terrible thing it brings, there's also a few silver linings. And I guess what must have happened is they must have just been on Spotify and just found a song, a load of British bands. Maybe British bands do have an audience there. I don't know. And so this guy started playing. He started sending Instagram stories of him driving around Japan, listening to the song, and I was just like, "That's amazing. That's cool." So I like reposted it and was like, "Oh, cheers, man. Glad you like it." And then he just stayed in touch, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a filmmaker." This actually isn't even the first Japanese thing that he did. He did another thing. He said, "I'm making a TV show, a crime drama called like Kronos or some." It was, I don't know what, it probably didn't translate to that. And he says, "I want to use you for the theme tune." We're like, "Great, go for it." And it's like it's a YouTube. It's quite, it's like a low budget thing, but it's really interesting, and I could not tell you what it's about. I've got no idea. But that was the theme song. And then he came back a year later and he says, "I really like your newest song. I propose we make a full video in Japan." And he's like, and he was like, "Oh, don't worry, it's not going to cost you anything. We just want to do it." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I mean, go for it." I mean, I was like, "Are you sure? Do you need anything from us?" And he's like, "No, we'll still."
Was it all remote then? I mean, you didn't get
I didn't do
a business page rip over to
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. I just was like, go for it. Because also I just thought, people people say these kinds of things all the time, and you never know whether it's actually going to happen or not. And then I got these then for like a couple of weeks, and I was amazed at how much work they put in, because every day they were doing a shoot. They'd do like Instagram stories of them working on it, and it was like 3 days of shooting, and I was like, bloody hell, these guys are working so hard on this video. Like,
I'm mad. Twitter thumbs. Like, where's my video?
And I was just like, good job, guys. Great. And then eventually it came out, and it's amazing, because it's like this. There's like the main character. He's singing my lyrics, but so it's just really surreal to like hear my voice coming out of his face.
Yeah,
and it's so funny, and like and there's like there's like 2 or 3 storylines. There's like 8 actors in the thing. Wow. And I'm just like, fair play to you. I'm like, thank you so much for doing it. His name's Moto Azuma. I'm just going to get that perfectly right, so I can give him a proper plug, because it would be criminal to not give them a shout out. Right, yeah, but they're so kind of them to do that, and what a mad thing to do. Is all right. Here's his name, Azuma Motozumi _official. I'll send you guys the link to that, and you can put it
on the screen.
But like, he's making loads of. He's like a filmmaker, just doing loads of stuff in Japan, which is very cool. Yeah,
so cool.
Well, as we start nearing the end of this, we've started getting some fan questions in. Some of them are specific to the band, some of them are a bit more general across the music industry. But Phil's written a question in today. It's kind of a two-parter, but it goes back to what you were saying before about the mixing process. So he says, you obviously play and record all the parts, but how much input as a band do you have during the final mix?
Oh, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Well, we kind of... Well, there's a bit of mixing as you go. So like when we're tracking guitars, we'll kind of get the tone right in the room. So that won't change that much, because we'll be like, oh no, change the amp, change the pedal, we'll do it all there. And like in terms of the drum sound, that's just the sound of the studio. Mm-hmm. And then when I do, we'll kind of leave them with notes, and we'll say, can you make that sound vocal distorted? Can you make that a bit more reverby? But it's after that, you kind of just have to let them get on with it, because I would love to backseat drive and tell everyone, like, because I'm so interested in how they do it. I want to know what's going on, but I have to just let them do it, and then come back. And then luckily we've never had a situation where I go like, oh, you've completely misread that, like you've misrepresented us. And usually they make it larger than life, which is great. You know, as long as, I think, like, I've had it in the past where like we've come back and I go, oh, that song, that's not how that's supposed to be. But like, since we've been working with the Magic Guy, and this is no shame on any of the previous producers, it's more our inexperience. Like we would have gone into the studio as a new band, and we would have not done it. We wouldn't have done what we should have done for them to mix what we wanted. Yeah,
it's a whole process, and it starts with like, it's got to be a good recording, it's got to be competent playing,
and the arrangement. And like, if I don't give them a guitar tone that, like, if you know how like Royal Blood has like a bass that's turned octaved up with 2 amps, if you don't give them that to work with, you won't sound like Royal Blood. So I think I would go in with like my like tinny little Blues Junior amp and go, Royal Blood? And they'd be like,
you make that sound like...
of course it's not going to happen.
So what's the second part of that is, how different does the song sound to how you envisaged when you get it back? I suppose that's depending on...
different every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the different... Like recently, like One Horse Race sounds exactly how I thought it was going to sound, which is good. And then the previous ones... They always sound. They don't. It's hard to explain. They don't sound the same. There's always bits I'm like, oh, I thought that'd be different, but they never sound. They usually sound good in their own way, and sometimes I'm like, oh, that's not what I maybe thought it was going to be, but I'm glad it is that, because I think the way that's come out probably will be better. For whatever reason, I don't know.
There's that element, like you were saying, as you're recording as a band, you are kind of, especially when you get to near the end of the song, you do kind of have all the parts in there. So unless some kind of really left turn goes on, you've recorded your last parts to the drums that are there.
Yes.
Bar some editing, the bass that is there, bar some editing.
Exactly.
So you've got a bit of a rough idea of what the song is going to sound like.
And we're super prepared now. Like we used to
compared to the early days.
Yeah. And like we demo everything. And so we've already done it in a way. So I kind of already have like, okay, we've got 6 parts to do. It's going to go like this. And then as long as that, I love it when if the best bit is when you come up with something that you haven't planned that just is organic, and someone has an idea like, hey, why don't we do that? And it's like, yes, that's because then you feel like, oh, there's a bit of magic in it, that like this only could have happened in this moment. But we do like, because like it's so expensive, we can't have like too much decisions being made in the room, so we demo it to make sure like everyone knows exactly what they're doing, because the worst fear is someone goes in and goes, oh, is that a D? I thought it was a C, and like, you can't have any of that.
If you've got to rewrite the chord structure of the song. Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And moving on to best gig venue that you've played at.
Best gig venue. We've done, I mean, the Lead Mill's pretty good.
Have you done the big room in the Lead Mill?
Not with this band. Oh wait, we did, years ago. But we did it so early on in our career that it's like, oh no, we peaked too soon, you know. And that was supporting Fat White Family, which was a mad gig. And that, and then tell you what, their dressing room is just an absolute scene of chaos.
I bet, yeah.
But that was like 2017 or something. And then since then we've done the small room, and then me and Loz have done the big room with a different band. But that's one of the great venues of all time. But the biggest room we played was the Magna Science Center, which is like a 5,000 cap room. Oh. But that doesn't count because no one gave a shit about us. We just didn't. It wasn't. We weren't playing a science thing. It was a gig. It was a concert. But it's just that's the space is called science, whatever. But I think my answer, actually, sorry for the rambling. I think the best gig we've ever done at the venue that sounded the best, had one of the best atmospheres, and just a great room to play, was the Bodega in Nottingham, because we supported Kid Capici there, my favourite band, one of my favourite bands, and it was sold out. The sound was brilliant, bands were great, and we've played it a couple of times now, and it's never not delivered it's just perfect size, not too big, not too small.
It's supposed to be a good scene down there as well.
Yeah, I've heard it's great. Yeah, we haven't played Nottingham for a while. We need to sort that out.
So the opposite side of that question, what is your worst gig experience? Now, you don't have to mention the venue.
Yeah.
But the experience that's been...
Oh man, I've got so many to choose from.
In a 10-year career, I suppose you're bound to have a couple of difficult days, aren't you?
Yeah, there's I mean, okay, well, here, the first one, a venue in Derby, and I want to tell you the name. I can't say the name of it, but we have a nickname for it. But if I tell you the nickname, it'll give away what the venue is. So I can't.
Tell us the actual name after.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
And we are finishing our sound check, and we're just packing our gear up, and the sound man just disappears for a bit, and people are filing into the venue, and as we're just getting our gear off stage so that we can come back on after the doors are open or whatever, I shit you not, pornography starts playing out of the speakers, and we're just like, he's got his phone connected to
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and we're just packing our gear. Like, this nothing to do with us. We are not that edgy to be playing that.
It's not our walk on.
Oh, God. And then he came back, and we were like, do we tell him? Do we like say like, bro, your phone?
He must have known. When it starts not coming out his phone, the first thing like, oh shit, what am I?
The walk of shame.
Yeah. So that was bad. Yeah. And then I've had a few amps catch fire, and that's always stressful. And then you don't want to be like in the middle of a gig when you've got like, well, I have to go now. I can't finish this.
Part of the set, like flames behind you.
Everyone's cheering. Woo. You're like, no, this is not supposed to happen.
Yeah. We've had ones where like we've done the opening opening notes of the set, and it's like usually like a big like bow, and I'm like, hey, we're FloodHounds, and then I smack my guitar on Lauren's cymbal, send every single string out of tune, and then like slightly damaged the nut. And I'm like, we're 10 seconds in and I've just knackered my guitar and I'm left-handed. I can't just borrow someone else's guitar. And so I'm like trying to tune it back up, and I'm like, well, my nut's broken, so I just can't use my E string anymore. My top, so I'm like, it's a 5-string gig, and you just those
one of those days,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, how long you got? I got like,
we'd have to have a whole day just set aside to people's bad gig experiences and get them all.
They're much easier to recall than the good gig. It's not that there aren't good gigs, but the bad ones just stick in your head.
That's it. So what does the next 12 months look like for FloodHounds?
Lots of new music, because we've got 2 ones being mixed right now, so they'll come out soon. Then we're going back to the studio again in the summer, and then lots more gigs. Depending on this by the time this comes out, it'll be too late to help us on this. But we did just get shortlisted by Kerrang for a slot at Download Festival.
I voted for you this morning.
Oh, did you? Oh, nice one. Thank you. So that'll, I mean, fingers crossed, but I mean, that's like a long shot because there's a lot of competition in that, but hopefully a couple festivals, but and then October is usually our busiest gig time. That's when we sort of get around the country. So then that, more music, rinse, repeat, and just
it's a long cycle until we're too old to play.
I
think I carry those amps up and downstairs.
That's the bane of my life, that.
You play a little song.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah, what are you going to play for us?
I was thinking I would do an acoustic version of Quicksand, because I've never done that before, and I was playing it the other day and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, just thought I'd give that one a go.
Yeah.
So we're going to have an exclusive then.
Yeah.
So this is going to be Quicksand by Jack from FloodHounds. Thank you for coming down, Jack.
Cheers for having me.
For us.
Thank you.
Welcome. Catch you soon.
Two steps forwards, another backwards. Out on the front line, standing on a landmine. It looks so easy, then you hand it to me. Falling through a trapdoor, feels like I'm losing control. I don't know which way to go. I think I'm losing control. You think by now I'd have learned. It looks so easy, then you hand it to me. Scrawled on the back page, a message from the Stone Age. And as it crumbles, I begin to stumble. Faster than the blink of an eye, feels like I'm losing control. I don't know which way to go. Yeah, I think I'm losing control. You think by now I'd have learned. Try to run and hide, then you'll never turn the tide. Endlessly lost at sea, wasting all my energy. If you try to run and hide, then you'll never turn the tide. Endlessly lost at sea, wasting all my energy. You want it, you got it, I need to see you on it. You want it to feel it, so show me that you mean it. You want it, you got it, I need to see you on it. You want it to feel it, so show me that you mean it. First hand wander in the wasteland, all I see is quicksand lapping on my feet. Fall down, catch you on the rebound. Nothing left to say, nothing here left to see. Oh, I'm losing control. I don't know which way to go. You think by now I'd have learned, but I know I will return.
Jack, thank you very much for that exclusive version of Quicksand. Is that something that you think you might do in the future sets? Or
maybe, yeah. It's very different to the electric, so it's much more darker and bluesy. But yeah, maybe I might. Yeah, if it goes down well, I'll probably record it and make it a little mailing list exclusive or something.
We loved it, and I hope everyone else enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you again for coming down.
Cheers, cheers, guys.
Future.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
Same to you.
Yeah. If you liked FloodHounds, give them a follow on the socials, and
as with us,
give us a follow on the socials as well at BeatRoots Podcast.
We're good as well.
Thanks, Jack.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.